Welcome back to the channel, guys. Now today we have something slightly different on the channel. Now you've obviously already seen the title because you've clicked on the video. This video is going to be my top 5 tips for all IRONMAN accounts, whether it be gameplay related or mindset. But I do want to let you guys know that these are my 5 personal tips. These aren't for efficiency. These aren't the best things to do on your account necessarily. They're from all the experiences I've had of playing through my IRONMAN account and talking to other people. We're going to have my 5 tips as to what I think you should do on your IRONMAN account to make it as best as it can be. We do also have a couple of honorable mentions and we are going to start the video with those, so let's get straight into them. Now, before I tell you guys the first honorable mention on the list, I just want to let you know that before I made my 5 tips, I went and asked 3 separate people for their #1 tip before I even thought about what my 5 tips were going to be. So each of these honorable mentions, I 100% agree with them, but I just thought I'd also get an idea from someone outside of myself and someone else that can say, oh, this is a good tip for IRONMAN. But the first one comes in from a good friend of mine known as Digital. And his tip is to complete diaries and quests as soon as you get the chance. There's no need to, wait around to complete any quests or any diary achievements if you can unlock something that is better than what you're currently doing. Let's take skilling, for example. Let's say there's a skilling method locked behind a quest or behind a diary. Don't wait around. Do it as soon as possible so you get access to the faster and better methods as soon as possible, so you're not taking loads and loads of time doing all these slower methods or things like that. But that is the first honorable mention. Let's get on to the next. Now, our second honorable mention on the list comes from a friend of mine known as Will. Now, his tip is more of a mindset, which actually I was really happy with because I've actually got 2 gameplay and 1 mindset from the honorable mentions. But his tip is to expect to have to put time into the account. When you create an IRONMAN account, go into it thinking, I'm going to have to put a good amount of time in this to progress the account. Because IRONMAN, it's not something that you can just go on and progress really fast. You see all these people like, for example, Alfie, that progresses accounts very fast, but he puts a hell of a lot of time into it. And he's got a lot of experience with creating new accounts. Whereas if you're someone that's just created an IRONMAN for the first time, don't expect to progress anywhere near as fast as someone like that. And also with this tip, to play efficiently for as long as possible until you no longer enjoy it, because it's going to get to the point in the account where you want to go for things, goals necessarily, and things that aren't efficient. For example, on my account, I got 99 construction. I didn't do it the efficient way, but it was a goal of mine and I enjoyed it. So there's going to become times where you're not going to be efficient, but if you can be as efficient as you can to start off with, you'll really speed up the process of getting to the end game or the mid to end game and the more enjoyable content on an IRONMAN. And our last honorable mention comes in from a very, very close friend of mine. His name is Joe, and he created his Iron. Honestly, it doesn't even feel like that long ago now. But he always wanted to create an Iron, but he always wanted to wait for group Iron. But he eventually decided to create his Iron, and he never looked back. And his tip is to, in fact, make use of Kingdom as soon as you possibly can. Because the earlier you get Kingdom started, the longer you can reap the rewards. Now, Kingdom later on an IRONMAN account doesn't become as good, but to get that Herbler experience early on is absolutely massive. So his tip is simply make use of Kingdom as soon as you get the chance. Now, moving on to my personal top 5 tips for IRONMAN accounts. I am not going to put these in any specific order because there really isn't. These are just my top 5 tips. 3 of them are going to be gameplay related and 2 of them are going to be mindset related. We will start with all 3 gameplay ones, then I'll finish it off with the 2 mindset. Now, the first one is a very simple tip, and that is level your thieving. Now, I started my account with 99 thieving, and I don't regret it whatsoever. I finished it with a 13 mil cash stack, and I was going into doing all the quests and getting Barrow's gloves with never a worry of money. Now, when I say level thieving, I don't mean, yes, go get yourself 99 thieving. I literally mean just get yourself maybe to the 80s or something, somewhere where you can efficiently thieve off master farmers specifically. Because in this, a lot of your seeds that you can get early on can easily come from Master Farmers. Master Farmers are one of the best ways, if not the best way in the game, to get Renar seeds on an Iron Man. And if you ever need them, you can just go there, not worry about having to get your thieving leveled up. Now, yes, if you do have 99, it's a bonus. You don't have to get 99 to not fail Master Farmers, but obviously 99 you won't fail them. But at least level your thieving up to a decent level where you can efficiently get Renar seeds if you need them, or any other seeds from Master Farmers, because it really will help with a lot of different things on your account. Now, my second personal top tip is to, in fact, gain access to a good food source earlier in your account. Whether this be Karambwans, which is honestly one of the best food sources in the game and very, very easy to get access to, and is very AFK if you guys like AFK methods, or if you really wanted to, you could go for something like minnows, which is of course even better than Karambwans, but it does require a higher fishing level, it does require full angler, and it isn't anywhere near as AFK as Karambwans. But the earlier you unlock a good food source on your account, the easier things become. It will allow you to complete quests easier because you'll have better food for boss fights. It will allow you to AFK Slayer tasks better if you've got better food, if you don't plan to prayer flick tasks, all things like that. Food is very important on Iron Man. Obviously you have to gather it yourself, so why not make sure you can gather a good food source as soon as possible. And my last gameplay tip, I'm not going to go into this too deep because there's so many different things you could talk about, but it's simply start things early. They may be thinking, what do you mean start things early? Well, like I've said in a previous one, with the honourable mention for Joe, he said, make use of Kingdom as soon as possible. That's an example. But I mean things like birdhouse runs, farm runs, Tears of Guthix, growing cat, seaweed runs, all things like that. As soon as you can do them, get used to doing them. Set yourself a routine, like every Slayer task or whatever, go do a farm run. Whatever you're doing, try do as many of these things as possible and get a routine going. The earlier you get birdhouse runs going, the better. You're going to get tree seeds, you're going to get bird's nest for later on when you make Saradomin brews. It may not be a lot, but it's better than nothing. As well as farm runs. Farm runs are always important. You're going to get your potions, you're going to get your herbal level up, which is very important on Iron Man. Tears of Guthix, that's free experience. There's no reason not to do it. And then there's something like growing cats, which I mentioned, which if you guys don't already know, you can grow a cat and you can trade it into an NPC in Ardoin for 200 death runes, which is very nice because you can really stack up on death runes before you even need to use them. So when it comes to time that you think, oh, I need to use death runes for Iban's Blast or something, you have a hell of a lot of them already in your bank just because you passively grew cats whilst doing other things. Now there's many more things I could talk about, but like I said, I'm not going to go into all of them. But either way, start things as soon as you possibly can on your account because it really will help later on. So now for my first mindset tip. Now, before I say this one, obviously this can apply to all accounts. But I feel personally that this applies to Iron Man slightly more because of how you progress the account. And that is to simply set yourself goals. Goals are needed, in my opinion, to play RuneScape. If you've got no goals, you come on, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go. So you just kind of do nothing and then you end up burning out because you really don't know what's next. Now, for an Iron Man to set yourself goals like go get yourself a quest cape. A quest cape is not only a goal that you can work towards, but it will unlock so many more things on the way. Whereas for a main account, they might have a goal of going, getting the stats and the gear to go do bandos. It's not as simple as that on an Iron Man. There's things that come before. Obviously, you guys know that, everyone understands that. So I feel like setting goals on an Iron Man is a lot more important because there's a lot more boring things that you have to do on the way to the fun content. So setting yourself goals can really help you get to that content and really just fly through it almost, because there's some things that I've done throughout this account, and if I didn't have goals to work towards, I wouldn't have been able to do those things. Like I had the goal of 99 construction and I set myself mini goals on the way to 99 construction. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to get to 99 construction. I would have burnt out, not wanted to play. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did stop playing consistently towards the end, but I still got towards my goal. I had to cut a hell of a lot of teak logs, so it was really boring, but that's just an example. If you set yourself goals, it can really help you get to your end goal, whether they be mini goals on the way to a goal. Just always have goals in mind. And we are going to end this video with a tip that is something that I hold close to me, because I feel when you watch so many people play on an Ironman, they think, how does this guy progress his account? He's got a really cool account. I'm going to copy what he does. But when you play an Ironman, play it how you want to play it. Don't think this is the most efficient way. If you don't enjoy efficiency, don't be efficient. You don't have to. Efficiency is great and all, but if you don't enjoy it, what's the point? You're playing this game to have fun. You're not playing it to be efficient. So when you play your account the way you want to. Play your account in a unique way. Don't look at someone, for example, a lot of hardcores. Oh, let's go get 99 fire making. So there's so many hardcores that have copied that, but then you get the ones that don't, and it's more interesting, not only for yourself, but for other people. For me, I personally love looking at other people's account and how they progress them. And if I see, a hardcore, I expect 99 fire making. But if I see one without 99 fire making, it's interesting. I think of, oh, how'd they go about it? All stuff like that. So play your account differently, and most importantly, don't rush the account. Don't think, oh, I have to rush to get to Zora. I have to rush to get to Chambers of Xeric and stuff like that. If you rush the account, you get to it, you get that stuff done, and then you realize there's a lot of stuff that you haven't done that would really help you right now. Personally, by the time I got to things like Zora, I had so much other stuff done that helped me. I had my agility level for the shortcut. I had all the quests done that I needed for different things. There's so many things I had access to that made Zora easier. There's nothing worse than getting something and having it become harder because you don't have access to the things that you could have had if you would have done a couple more steps before you got to it. Because rushing an account can really screw you over in other ways. Yeah, you could go get like a rapier from TOB or a scythe from TOB or stuff like that. But for example, you want to have the blood runes to use it. So what's the point of getting the scythe or the sanguinesti? Things like that. Yes, obviously you see streamers, they do things where they will use a certain method to get to TOB fast. For example, I know Roydy's doing it at the moment. He's rushing it to skip out on the whip and he'll get a rapier. Yeah, that's really cool and all, but obviously he's a streamer. He wants interesting content. If you guys aren't streamers or content creators, you don't have to rush anything unless that is what you enjoy. But don't feel like you have to rush stuff to get to things. And that is my final tip. And honestly, I said they're not in any particular order, but for me, that's number one tip. But that is not gameplay, that is just mindset. But I had to say that because I feel like it's important for anyone that's new to an Ironman or even late in an Ironman. It's always nice to not know that you have to rush and you have to do things like other people. Just do it your own way and enjoy the game. But those are all my tips for how I think every Ironman should not necessarily play their account, but go about their account. There's some tips that I give you to take on and then potentially think, yeah, I'll do that. That'd be something that could help my account. That's not copying me, because that's something that can help everyone. At the end of the day, everyone's going to do something like level thieving to get, master farmers or some money, or a diary. Everyone's going to do your birdhouse runs. That's just something that every account does anyway. But those are just some tips that might help you guys out with your account. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button. Drop a comment down below if you guys got any tips. I might have forgot some tips and stuff like that, and if I think it's a good enough tip, I will pin it. And last but not least, if you guys want to see more content just like this and Ironman progress, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.